Welcome back to the channel The Coin Empire. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating topics in the world of coin collecting and rare error coins, the 1961D Lincoln 1-cent coin, a small copper coin that most people would overlook in their pocket change but which, under extremely rare circumstances, could become one of the most talked about treasures in numismatics. Imagine finding a coin that appears ordinary at first glance yet carries unusual characteristics, striking anomalies, minting mistakes, and rare production defects that transform it from a common cent into a coin worth extraordinary amounts of money. Stories of valuable coins capture attention because they remind us that hidden treasures can sometimes exist in plain sight. The 1961D penny was produced at the Denver Mint during a period when billions of Lincoln cents circulated across the United States, and the overwhelming majority remain common today. However, collectors know that rarity is not always determined by date alone. Sometimes the value comes from a unique combination of errors, preservation, historical significance, and collector demand. When all of those factors align, a seemingly insignificant coin can command astonishing prices. The idea of a 1961D penny reaching values discussed in the millions is tied not to ordinary examples but to exceptional specimens possessing dramatic mint errors, unusual characteristics, and extraordinary rarity. One of the most important factors that can elevate the value of a 1961D penny is a major double die error. During the die creation process, if the design is impressed incorrectly and receives multiple misaligned impressions, elements of the coin's design can appear doubled. Strong doubling visible in the date, lettering, inscriptions, or portrait details can attract tremendous attention from collectors. The more dramatic and obvious the doubling, the greater the interest. Collectors spend years searching for double die varieties because they represent genuine mistakes made during production. A strong double die combined with excellent preservation can make a coin highly desirable and exceptionally rare. Another possibility involves repunched mint marks. During the era when mint marks were punched into dies by hand, mistakes occasionally occurred. If the mint mark was impressed more than once in slightly different positions, traces of the earlier punch might remain visible. A 1961D penny displaying a dramatic repunched mint mark could become a key variety sought by specialists. While many repunched mint marks are relatively minor, an unusually strong and visually striking example can command significant premiums. Off-center strikes are another category of mint error capable of transforming a common coin into a prized collectible. During striking, if the planchet is not properly centered between the dies, part of the design may be missing while a blank crescent-shaped area appears on the coin. The greater the percentage of off-center strike while still retaining the date and mint mark, the more attractive the error often becomes. A dramatic off-center 1961D penny preserved in pristine condition would be an exciting discovery and could draw fierce competition among collectors. Then there are broad strikes, which occur when the retaining collar fails to function correctly during striking. Without the collar to contain the metal, the coin expands beyond its intended diameter, creating a distinctive appearance. Broad-struck coins often exhibit full design details spread across a wider surface. While broad strikes alone may not create million-dollar values, combining such an error with other rare characteristics could dramatically increase desirability. Another fascinating possibility is a coin struck on the wrong planchet. Throughout mint history, planchets intended for different denominations occasionally became mixed with others. If a 1961D cent were struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or even for a foreign coin, the result would be an extraordinary mint error. Such pieces are highly prized because they reveal unusual events within the production process. Wrong planchet errors are among the most dramatic and visually distinctive mistakes collectors seek. A rare combination of a wrong planchet strike and other significant errors could elevate a coin into legendary status. Die cracks and die breaks represent another category of mint-produced anomalies. Over time, dies experience tremendous stress from repeated use. Cracks can form, and fragments may eventually break away. Coins struck from damaged dies display raised lines, unusual lumps, or dramatic features sometimes known as cuds. While minor die cracks are common, large and visually impressive die breaks can attract considerable attention. Collectors appreciate these errors because they provide evidence of the physical deterioration of the dies used to strike coins. A spectacular die break on a 1961 D penny could become a standout piece within a specialized collection. Die clashes are equally intriguing. These occur when the dies strike one another without a planchet between them. The resulting damage may transfer portions of one design onto the opposite die, creating ghost-like design elements on future coins. Strong die clash evidence can create unusual and fascinating visual effects that specialists eagerly study. The more dramatic the clash marks, the greater the potential collector interest. Multiple error combinations are especially important when discussing extraordinary values. A coin featuring only one minor error may be desirable, but a coin exhibiting several major errors simultaneously becomes significantly rarer. Imagine a 1961 D penny that displays dramatic doubling, a strong repunched mint mark, an off-center strike, and exceptional preservation. The odds of such a combination are incredibly small, making the coin a unique survivor from the minting process. Collectors often pay substantial premiums for pieces that combine multiple forms of rarity. Preservation plays an equally important role. Even the rarest error coin can lose value if heavily worn or damaged. Coins graded at the highest levels are scarce because most examples entered circulation and accumulated wear over decades. A 1961 D penny preserved in virtually perfect condition with blazing original luster, sharp details, and minimal contact marks would stand out immediately. High-grade coins often compete for registry sets, where collectors seek the finest known examples. Intense competition among advanced collectors can drive prices dramatically higher. Color designation is another important factor for Lincoln cents. Collectors classify copper coins as brown, or red. Full original red color is particularly desirable because it indicates minimal oxidation and exceptional preservation. A 1961 D penny retaining brilliant red surfaces after decades would attract significant attention. When combined with rare mint errors, pristine red color can substantially increase value. Some collectors speculate about unique transitional errors or experimental planchets. While such discoveries are extraordinarily rare, they capture imagination because they suggest unusual circumstances within mint operations. If a 1961 D penny were discovered on an experimental metal composition or otherwise undocumented planchet, the numismatic community would likely react with enormous interest. Unique discoveries often generate excitement because they challenge existing knowledge and create opportunities for further research. Provenance can also influence value. Coins with documented ownership histories connected to famous collections often receive additional attention. If a remarkable 1961 D-era penny passed through renowned collections and appeared in major auctions over many years, its story could become nearly as important as the coin itself. Collectors appreciate pieces with rich histories because they represent milestones in the hobby. Auction records frequently demonstrate how storytelling and provenance contribute to value. Publicity is another powerful factor. When a rare coin receives media attention, interest can increase dramatically. Stories about valuable pennies spread quickly because they capture the imagination of people who may not normally follow coin collecting. Increased awareness often attracts new buyers, creating additional competition whenever a remarkable specimen appears for sale. Demand is ultimately a key component of value. No matter how rare a coin may be, strong prices require collectors willing to compete for ownership. The Lincoln Cent series remains one of the most widely collected coin series in the United States. Millions of people have searched rolls, jars, and collections looking for rare varieties. This broad collector base creates strong demand for unusual and exceptional examples. A truly unique 1961 D-era penny would likely attract attention from specialists, investors, and advanced collectors alike. Another factor involves authentication. Before any coin can achieve extraordinary value, experts must verify its authenticity. Professional grading services examine coins carefully to ensure that errors originated during minting rather than through post-mint damage. Genuine mint errors are highly desirable. Next, 1982 D 1-cent coin. Today we are exploring one of the most fascinating stories in the world of rare coin collecting, a story centered around the 1982 D Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that many people have seen, many people have spent, and many people may still have sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, old piggy banks, and forgotten collections. At first glance, the 1982 D penny appears to be an ordinary coin worth only 1 cent, but hidden within certain examples are rare characteristics, unusual minting mistakes, production anomalies, and extraordinary possibilities that have made collectors search tirelessly for valuable specimens. Some coin enthusiasts believe that under the right combination of rare errors, exceptional preservation, unique varieties, and collector demand, a 1982 D penny could become one of the most valuable modern Lincoln cents ever discovered. The year 1982 is especially important in United States coinage history because it marked one of the most significant transitions in the production of the Lincoln cent. Rising copper prices forced the United States Mint to change the composition of the penny from primarily copper to a zinc core coated with copper. Because of this transition, several different varieties of 1982 cents were produced, creating a fascinating chapter in numismatic history. Collectors today pay close attention to every 1982 penny because the year contains multiple combinations of mint marks, compositions, and date styles. This unusual situation creates opportunities for rare discoveries that continue to excite collectors decades later. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies in 1982, yet among those coins there remains the possibility of rare pieces exhibiting striking errors and unusual characteristics. One of the most famous possibilities discussed among collectors involves transitional composition errors. Because the mint was changing from copper planchets to zinc planchets during 1982, the potential exists for unusual mistakes involving the wrong metal being used. Imagine a coin intended to be struck on one composition accidentally being struck on another. Such an error would immediately attract attention because it would represent a direct connection to one of the most important transitions in modern American coinage. Collectors are fascinated by transitional errors because they provide tangible evidence of changes occurring inside the mint during a historic period of production. Another major factor that could elevate the value of a 1982 D penny is the possibility of a rare double die error. During die preparation, if the design receives misaligned impressions, visible doubling may appear on letters, numbers, or design elements. Strong double die errors are among the most desirable varieties in coin collecting because they are genuine mint-made mistakes rather than damage occurring after the coin entered circulation. A dramatic double die on a 1982 D penny could create intense collector interest, especially if the doubling is obvious without magnification. The stronger and more dramatic the doubling, the more excitement it generates within the collecting community. Collectors spend years examining pennies searching for signs of unusual doubling because some of the most valuable Lincoln cents in history are known for this exact type of error. Another possibility involves die deterioration and die break errors. Mint dies endure tremendous pressure during coin production. Over time, cracks can develop and portions of the die may weaken. Coins struck from damaged dies may display raised lines, unusual bumps, cuds, and other distinctive features. While minor die cracks are relatively common, major die breaks can create dramatic visual appearances that attract serious collector attention. A 1982 D penny displaying a spectacular die break could become highly sought after, particularly if the feature is large, unusual, and well preserved. Off-center strikes are another category of error that can transform an ordinary penny into an extraordinary collectible. These occur when the blank planchet is not properly positioned between the dies at the moment of striking. The resulting coin may show only part of the design while leaving a blank area where the strike missed the planchet. Collectors often prize off-center errors because they are immediately recognizable. A dramatic off-center 1982 D penny retaining a visible date and mint mark could command substantial interest. The larger the off-center percentage while still maintaining key identifying features, the more desirable the coin may become. Broad strikes offer another fascinating possibility. Normally a collar surrounds the coin during striking and controls its final shape and diameter. If the collar malfunctions or is absent, the metal may spread outward more than intended. This creates a broad-struck coin with a distinctive appearance. Such errors reveal important details about the minting process and are appreciated by collectors who enjoy understanding how coins are manufactured. A broad-struck 1982 penny preserved in exceptional condition would stand out as a noteworthy error coin. Wrong planchet errors are among the most dramatic mistakes a coin can possess. Occasionally a blank intended for a different denomination or even a foreign coin enters the production process and receives the wrong design. The result is a coin with unusual weight, size, or appearance. These errors are rare because multiple safeguards exist to prevent such mistakes. When one does occur, collectors often view it as a major discovery. A 1982 penny struck on an incorrect planchet would likely become a centerpiece of any advanced collection. The excitement surrounding such finds comes from their rarity and the insight they provide into the complexity of coin production. Another category involves die clashes. These occur when the dies strike one another without a planchet between them. Portions of each design may transfer onto the opposing die, creating unusual impressions on subsequent coins. Strong die clash evidence can produce fascinating visual effects that specialists eagerly study. Some collectors actively seek die clash varieties because they reveal unusual events during production. The more dramatic and visible the clash marks, the more desirable the coin may become. In rare situations multiple error types appear on the same coin. These combinations are especially prized because each additional error significantly increases rarity. Imagine a 1982 penny displaying strong doubling, an off-center strike, and evidence of a die clash. Such a combination would be extraordinarily unusual. The rarity of multiple error coins often attracts advanced collectors willing to pay substantial premiums for unique pieces. Preservation is equally important. Even the most dramatic error may lose appeal if heavily worn or damaged. Coins surviving in near-perfect condition are inherently scarce because most entered circulation and accumulated years of wear. A 1982 penny with blazing original luster, sharp details, and virtually no contact marks would stand apart from ordinary examples. High-grade coins often compete in registry set programs where collectors seek the finest known specimens. This competition can dramatically increase prices for elite examples. Color designation also matters for Lincoln cents. Copper-coated coins may be classified as red, red-brown, or brown depending on the amount of original color remaining. Full red examples are generally the most desirable because they retain their original appearance. A rare error coin with full red color and exceptional surfaces would attract considerable attention from collectors. The combination of rarity, beauty, and preservation often drives the strongest auction results. Some collectors speculate about undocumented varieties that may still be waiting to be discovered. Given the enormous number of 1982 pennies produced, it is possible that unusual die states, previously unknown errors, or unique transitional pieces remain hidden in collections. Every year collectors continue searching through old rolls and accumulations hoping to uncover something new. This possibility adds excitement to the hobby because discoveries are not limited to the past. New findings continue to emerge decades after coins were originally struck. Authentication plays a critical role in determining value. Before any coin can achieve extraordinary prices, experts must confirm that unusual features originated during minting rather than from post-mint damage. Professional grading services examine coins carefully, verifying composition, strike characteristics, and authenticity. This process provides confidence to buyers and sellers and helps establish market value. Without authentication, even a potentially rare coin may struggle to attract serious interest. The 1982 penny remains particularly intriguing because of the historic composition transition that occurred during that year. Collectors know that important transitions sometimes create opportunities for unusual errors. The combination of multiple varieties, changing materials, and massive production numbers makes 1982 one of the most studied years in modern Lincoln cent collecting. Stories of rare discoveries continue to inspire collectors to inspect every penny they encounter. The dream of finding an overlooked treasure remains one of the most appealing. Next, 1971 1-cent coin. Today we are taking a deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins that continues to spark excitement among collectors and treasure hunters across the United States, the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent coin. At first glance, this small copper coin appears no different from countless other pennies that have passed through cash registers, piggy banks, coin jars, and collections over the decades, yet hidden within a tiny number of examples are unusual characteristics, minting mistakes, striking errors, and remarkable possibilities that have transformed certain specimens into legendary collectibles. Stories of rare pennies worth extraordinary sums of money have captured the imagination of collectors for generations because they remind us that valuable treasures can sometimes be hiding in plain sight. The 1971 penny represents exactly that kind of possibility. While the overwhelming majority of 1971 pennies remain common coins worth only a small amount above face value, rare examples displaying significant errors and extraordinary preservation have become highly sought after by collectors who understand the importance of rarity and uniqueness in the numismatic marketplace. The year 1971 occupies an interesting place in Lincoln cent history. Millions upon millions of pennies were struck for circulation, ensuring that examples remain available even today. However, large production numbers do not eliminate the possibility of mistakes. In fact, whenever enormous quantities of coins are produced, opportunities arise for unusual events to occur during manufacturing. Every stage of the minting process involves machinery, dies, planchets, inspections, and handling procedures, and whenever production reaches massive levels, occasional errors inevitably find their way into circulation. Those mistakes often become the foundation of valuable collector discoveries years or even decades later. One of the most important possibilities involving a valuable 1971 penny is the presence of a double die error. During the preparation of coin dies, if the design receives multiple impressions that do not align perfectly, visible doubling can appear on portions of the finished coin. Collectors carefully examine dates, lettering, inscriptions, and design elements searching for signs of this phenomenon. Strong double die varieties are among the most respected and sought-after error types because they originate directly from the die itself. Unlike damage occurring after a coin leaves the mint, a double die error is present from the moment the coin is struck. A dramatic double die on a 1971 penny could create intense collector interest, particularly if the doubling is obvious and affects major design elements. Another possibility that excites collectors involves repunched mint marks on coins produced at branch mints. During certain periods in American coinage history, mint marks were punched into dies manually. Occasionally a mint mark would be punched more than once, leaving traces of multiple impressions. Collectors find these varieties fascinating because they provide evidence of human involvement in the die preparation process. A dramatic repunched mint mark can transform an ordinary coin into a recognized collectible variety. Although the Philadelphia Mint did not use mint marks on most cents of this era, collectors often study all associated varieties and production anomalies connected to the period. Off-center strikes represent another category of minting error capable of generating substantial value. These errors occur when a planchet is not positioned correctly between the dies at the moment of striking. As a result, only part of the intended design appears on the coin while a blank area remains where the strike missed the metal. The visual appearance of off-center coins makes them especially popular among collectors because the error is immediately obvious. A 1971 penny displaying a dramatic off-center strike while retaining a visible date could become a highly desirable collectible. The greater the degree of displacement and the better the preservation, the stronger the collector demand often becomes. Broad-struck errors provide another fascinating example of how minting mistakes can create rarity. During normal coin production, a collar surrounds the planchet and controls the final diameter and shape of the coin. If the collar fails to function correctly or is absent during striking, the metal can spread beyond normal boundaries, producing a broad-struck coin. These pieces often exhibit distinctive shapes and dimensions that make them easy to identify. Broad-struck pennies from any era attract attention because they reveal a breakdown in the production process and provide collectors with a tangible example of how coins are manufactured. Wrong planchet errors are among the most dramatic and valuable mistakes a coin can possess. Occasionally a blank intended for another denomination or even a foreign coin enters the production line and receives the wrong design. The resulting coin may have an unusual weight, size, thickness, or appearance. Because strict quality controls exist to prevent such mistakes, genuine wrong planchet errors are rare. Collectors prize these coins because they represent extraordinary production anomalies. A 1971 penny struck on an incorrect planchet would likely attract intense attention from specialists and advanced collectors alike. Another significant possibility involves die cracks and die breaks. Coin dies endure tremendous pressure throughout their service life. Over time, microscopic cracks can form and eventually expand. Coins struck from damaged dies may display raised lines, unusual lumps, cuds, and other distinctive features. While minor die cracks are relatively common, major die breaks are much scarcer and often highly collectible. Large cuds in particular create dramatic visual appearances that appeal to error coin enthusiasts. A spectacular die break on a 1971 penny could elevate its status among collectors searching for unusual varieties. Die clash errors represent another fascinating area of study. These occur when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them. Portions of one design can transfer onto the opposing die, creating unusual impressions on future coins. Strong die clashes sometimes produce ghost-like images and unexpected design elements that attract significant collector interest. Because die clashes reveal specific events during the production process, they provide insight into how coins were manufactured and how errors developed. Collectors who specialize in die varieties often spend years searching for unusual clash patterns. Multiple error combinations are especially important when discussing coins that might achieve extraordinary values. A single minor error may attract modest interest, but a coin exhibiting several major errors simultaneously becomes exponentially rarer. Imagine a 1971 penny displaying strong double die characteristics, an off-center strike, and evidence of a die clash all on the same coin. The probability of such a combination is extremely low, making the piece potentially unique or nearly unique. Collectors frequently pay substantial premiums for coins possessing multiple layers of rarity because opportunities to acquire comparable examples may never arise again. Preservation plays a critical role in determining value. Even the rarest error can lose much of its appeal if heavily worn or damaged. Most 1971 pennies entered circulation immediately after production and accumulated years of handling. As a result, truly pristine examples are far scarcer than many people realize. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services often command substantial premiums because they represent the finest surviving examples. A rare error coin preserved in virtually flawless condition becomes especially desirable because it combines rarity with exceptional eye appeal. Lincoln cents are also evaluated according to color. Collectors generally classify copper coins as red, red-brown, or brown depending on the amount of original mint color remaining. Full red examples are usually the most desirable because they retain the bright appearance they possessed when first struck. A rare 1971 error penny with blazing original red surfaces could attract considerable attention in the marketplace. The combination of rarity, color, strike quality, and preservation frequently determines the strongest auction performances. Some collectors believe that undiscovered varieties may still exist among surviving 1971 pennies. Because so many examples were produced and circulated, it is entirely possible that unusual die states, undocumented errors, and unique production anomalies remain hidden in old collections. Every year collectors continue examining rolls, bags, estate accumulations, and inherited collections hoping to identify something new. The possibility of discovery remains one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting. Unlike many hobbies where all major discoveries have already been made, numismatics continues to produce surprises. Authentication remains essential whenever a coin is believed to possess significant value. Professional experts examine unusual coins carefully to determine whether the observed characteristics originated during minting or resulted from damage after circulation. Genuine mint errors can command substantial premiums, while last 1979 1-cent coin. Today we are exploring one of the most intriguing stories in the world of coin collecting, a story that revolves around the 1979 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that millions of people have handled without giving it a second thought, yet one that continues to inspire treasure hunters, collectors, and numismatic enthusiasts because of the possibility that certain rare examples may possess extraordinary value due to unusual minting errors, production mistakes, striking anomalies, and remarkable circumstances that set them apart from ordinary coins. Most people see a penny and think of only 1 cent, but experienced collectors know that some pennies have sold for thousands, hundreds of thousands, and in extremely rare hypothetical situations, even values discussed in the millions when rarity, demand, condition, and unique characteristics combine in a way that creates a once-in-a-generation collectible. The 1979 penny is an excellent example of how a seemingly common coin can become the subject of fascination among collectors who spend years examining coins for tiny details that others overlook. During 1979, the United States Mint produced enormous numbers of Lincoln cents for circulation. Because so many were made, it might seem impossible that any example could become exceptionally valuable. However, history has repeatedly shown that rarity does not always come from low mintage figures. Sometimes rarity comes from mistakes. Whenever millions or billions of coins are manufactured, unexpected events occasionally occur during the minting process. A die may become damaged, a planchet may be improperly prepared, a strike may occur outside normal specifications, or an unusual combination of production circumstances may create a coin unlike any other. Those are the moments collectors dream about because they transform ordinary coins into extraordinary discoveries. One of the most famous categories of errors that could increase the value of a 1979 penny is the double die error. During die preparation, the design may receive multiple impressions that fail to align perfectly. When this happens, portions of the design can appear doubled on the finished coin. Letters, numbers, and design details may display visible separation, creating a dramatic appearance. Collectors are especially attracted to strong examples where the doubling can be seen without magnification. A major double die variety often becomes one of the most sought-after collectibles from a particular year because it represents a genuine mistake made during the creation of the die itself. A spectacular double die 1979 penny in exceptional condition could attract intense interest from collectors around the world. Another possibility involves die deterioration and die state varieties. Coin dies are subjected to tremendous pressure during production, striking countless planchets over their service lives. As the dies wear, subtle changes can appear on the coins they produce. Sometimes these changes become dramatic enough to create collectible varieties. Die deterioration may cause unusual lettering appearances, distorted details, and other distinctive features that specialists study carefully. Advanced collectors often search through large quantities of coins hoping to identify unusual die states that escaped notice for decades. The possibility that an important variety remains undiscovered continues to motivate collectors to examine old coins with great attention to detail. Off-center strikes are among the most visually dramatic mint errors. These occur when a planchet is not properly positioned between the dies at the moment of striking. Instead of receiving the design in the correct location, only part of the coin is struck while a blank section remains visible. Off-center coins are popular because the error is immediately obvious even to people unfamiliar with coin collecting. A 1979 penny struck significantly off-center while retaining the date would be especially desirable because collectors could easily identify both the year and the unusual production mistake. The larger the off-center percentage and the better the overall condition, the greater the interest such a coin might generate. Broad-struck coins represent another fascinating category of mint error. During normal production, a retaining collar surrounds the planchet and controls the final diameter and shape of the coin. If the collar fails or is absent during striking, the metal can spread outward beyond normal limits. This produces a coin with an unusual appearance and larger diameter. Broad-struck pennies provide direct evidence of a malfunction during the minting process, making them appealing to collectors interested in understanding how coins are manufactured. A pristine 1979 broad-struck penny would certainly attract attention among error coin enthusiasts. Wrong planchet errors are often considered among the most exciting discoveries in numismatics. These occur when a blank intended for another denomination or another coin type accidentally enters the production line and receives the wrong design. The resulting coin may differ dramatically in weight, size, thickness, or composition. Such errors are rare because multiple safeguards exist within the minting process. When they are discovered, they frequently become centerpiece items in advanced collections. A 1979 Lincoln cent struck on an incorrect planchet would represent an extraordinary production mistake and could become one of the most discussed examples from the year. Die cracks and die breaks provide another avenue through which value can increase. Over time, repeated stress can cause dies to develop cracks. Coins struck from these damaged dies display raised lines corresponding to the cracks. In more dramatic cases, pieces of the die may break away entirely, creating what collectors call cuds. Large and visually impressive die breaks often attract substantial interest because they dramatically alter the appearance of the coin. A 1979 penny featuring a major cud or spectacular die break could become highly collectible due to its unusual appearance and rarity. Die clashes are equally fascinating. These occur when the dies strike each other without a planchet positioned between them. The impact can transfer portions of one design onto the opposing die, resulting in unusual impressions on later coins. Strong clash marks sometimes create ghost-like features that specialists find particularly appealing. Because die clashes reveal specific events during production, they provide a glimpse into the operations of the mint and the challenges faced during high-volume coin manufacturing. Multiple error combinations are especially important when discussing coins that achieve extraordinary values. A coin with one interesting feature may be collectible, but a coin possessing several major errors simultaneously becomes dramatically rarer. Imagine a 1979 penny displaying strong double die characteristics, a noticeable die clash, and a partial off-center strike while remaining in near-perfect condition. Such a combination would be extraordinarily unusual and could generate tremendous excitement among collectors. The rarity of multiple error coins often makes them stand out even in advanced collections filled with other scarce pieces. Condition is another critical factor. Most 1979 pennies entered circulation immediately and spent years passing through countless hands. As a result, many examples show wear, scratches, discoloration, and other signs of use. Coins that survive in exceptional condition are much scarcer than many people realize. Professional grading services evaluate preservation carefully, assigning numerical grades that help determine market value. A rare error coin graded near the top of the scale often commands significantly higher prices than a similar coin with noticeable wear. Collectors competing for the finest known examples frequently drive prices upward through aggressive bidding. Color designation also plays a major role in the Lincoln cent market. Copper coins gradually change color as they age and react with their environment. Coins retaining their original bright red appearance are generally considered more desirable than those that have turned brown. A rare 1979 error penny with full red color, exceptional luster, and minimal marks would represent an especially attractive combination. Collectors often pay strong premiums for coins combining rarity and visual appeal. Another factor that can influence value is provenance. Coins with documented histories connected to famous collections or notable discoveries often receive additional attention. The story behind a coin can sometimes be nearly as compelling as the coin itself. A remarkable 1979 penny that passed through respected collections and appeared in major auctions over many years could develop a reputation extending far beyond its physical characteristics. Such history often enhances desirability and contributes to stronger market performance. Public awareness can also affect demand. Stories about valuable pennies regularly capture attention because they suggest the possibility of hidden wealth in ordinary places. When a rare coin receives publicity through articles, collector publications, videos, or major auctions, interest often increases dramatically. More collectors become aware of the variety, additional research is conducted, and demand may rise accordingly. The link